Hi guys, Harry here, and welcome to my breakdown of Doctor Who Redacted Episode 6, Recruits. And this episode ended in a way I didn't think it would. But before we get into this video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So, this episode Recruits starts with an instrumental song called March of the Triumph by Donald Charles Douglas Hanmer, and it's this episode starts with triumph and ends in defeat, which I think is a really cool way to tie the episode around. It's an instrumental song, but I will cover it later on in the song sound music segment of this video. But from the March of the Triumph music, it blends into a scientist talking to us, and I thought it sounded a lot like Life on Mars, which John Sim, who obviously played the Master in Doctor Who, he played Sam Tyler, a DI or DCI, in Life on Mars, which was 2006, but he was in a car accident and he ended up in 1973. And there would be instances where the TV or the radio would talk to him from the present day in his hospital bed in 2006 through to his new life in 1973. And this scientist talking to us is a bit like that, so I think there's a good parallel there between this starting episode, because the scientist is really weird, but it's a good parallel to that and the weirdness of the TV and radio in Life on Mars. However, the scientist talking to us is Dr. Anthony Sinclair, and I couldn't find anything on him under Unit, but this is an information video, a recruitment video. It turns out that from the 1970s. So again, another parallel between Life on Mars, as that was in 1973, his role is just to recruit people. And he goes, "You can't spell uninvestigated without unit, but if you spelled uninvestigated with unit, you would be wrong. In that word, you can't spell unit." Unit isn't in uninvestigated, so he is wrong. So there is just, again, something weird there. And speaking of weird, the video that the scientist is obviously doing, the recruitment video, cuts out whenever the doctor's name is about to be mentioned, and then it cuts back just as quickly. Again, the weird static whiny sound, so there is definitely something weird there. And again, obviously, UNIT started as the United Nations Intelligence Task Force, is just now the Unified Intelligence Task Force. But of course, this was created to make the world a safer place, and definitely our home nation, the United Kingdom. And that is reinforced with the national anthem, God Save the Queen, being played in the background, another great musical detail. However, this is being showed to Abby, Cleo and Shauna, and after this ends, Osgood enters the room, played by Ingrid Oliver, and she announces herself as a Chief Scientific Officer at UNIT, which is obviously Kate Stewart's role. And Cleo brings this up. However, Osgood is like, what other woman? Who's Kate Stewart? So she doesn't know Kate Stewart, but they have always been mentioned together. It's just so weird. But she doesn't remember Kate, so this is mind-blowing. Kate's been redacted too. And it is just insane. However, something even more insane is that Osgood needs their help, and she has been more open about this with than Kate or Miller or Roberts were with the girls. and Osgood. I think Osgood is a lot more down to earth because she is a real fan of Doctor Who in the Doctor Who universe. So she's just like the fan. So I think she's honestly a lot more sympathetic with Abby, Cleo, and Shauna. So she shows them Unit's warehouse, and Abby remarks that it's like the British Museum, which Unit did have a secret base-like thing, like either in the British Museum or under the British Museum, that we saw in Day of the Doctor, where they have lots of alien and also Earth artifacts in the British Museum. In their base in the British Museum or under the British Museum. But it's just cool to have that parallel between that and Day of the Doctor. However, Unit should have 862 objects in their storage, but 97 are completely missing, and certain objects have just turned up just suddenly turned up, and it's like they can't explain it. And it's just crazy that even Unit don't know. They don't know anything. They're just like a normal human group that don't know anything about aliens. They are now just literally a military group. However, then the girls look at all these artifacts and they think, oh, this looks familiar. Is it a hairdryer? Accidentally fire it, and it turns out to be an alien gun, and it bounces all around the room, causing chaos, but eventually it dissipates, and Osgood is fine with it. But this is maybe a reverse of Dalek, where Adam, the person who worked for the Henry Van Staten in the big boss of where the Doctor and Rose ended up in that episode, he had lots of alien objects, and he said, maybe this is a gun, and the Doctor said, no, this is a hairdryer. However, then Osgood says, we need your expertise. Look at this. And she hands them a bottle of adipose diet pills, which is obviously from episode 1 of this series and also Partners in Crime, and is insane. And she confirms to the girls that these pills dissolve you from the inside out, so no one should try them. And she's kind of right. Obviously they needed a pendant and the big machine to make these people dissolve into fat babies, but she is technically right. However, then this episode decides to split up the girls, with Abby being interviewed by Osgood and Shauna and Cleo going to catalogue objects in the warehouse. So, let's go to Shauna and Cleo first, as we'll come back to Abby and Osgood. So, the first thing Shauna and Cleo come across is a mission report. Specifically, a mission report of moon rocks retrieved from the Royal Hope Hospital. And this is insane, because the Royal Hope Hospital is obviously from Smith and Jones and episode 2 of Doctor Who Redacted. And again, when they talked about the Royal Hope Hospital going up to space, and of course Jadoon. So a lot of alien links there. And next thing they come across is a medical report that says gas exchange causes them to fart uncontrollably. Of course, this is a reference to the Slovene from World War III and Aliens of London, as well as Boomtown. However, not only are these reports extremely vague with only one sentence, they are also incredibly wrong and out of date, because in the Sarah Jane Adventures, the Slovene have fixed the problem of them farting when they're in their human disguises. Of course, this isn't just everything, and it could be the Sarah Jane Adventures are wrong, but they've had a good continuity before. So either the Sarah Jane Adventures are wrong, or Doctor Who is wrong, and as this is a Doctor Who spin-off and Sarah Jane was the spin-off of Doctor Who, maybe the Slovenes still have a problem with their gas exchange. Then they come across this big name drop of just 2 words, Bad Wolf. And of course, Bad Wolf was the biggest thing in the Russell T Davies era. Series 1, it was the thing that saved the Doctor from the Daleks and the Earth from the Daleks when Rose absorbed the time vortex and she laid out the 2 words for her to eventually come to the TARDIS and absorb the time vortex. Bad Wolf. So Bad Wolf was really the saviour of Doctor Who and the Doctor Who universe in Series 1. And in Series 4, it marked the end of the universe, tying in again the Daleks. And the Daleks will come up later in this episode. So it's just really great to see that these two tie in. The Bad Wolf really came up with, it was something to do with the Daleks and the Doctor and his companion, but also something to do with Russell T Davies. Of course, Russell T Davies is getting his second round as Doctor Who showrunner, and this, when he's his second time round, is under Bad Wolf Productions. So again, another reference to Bad Wolf. So maybe this will come back again in a big way. And I really hope Doctor Who Redacted comes back in a big way in RTD2 era, because it's been great so far. However, all these catalogued objects have been corrupted. All 862 records are corrupted and 97 are just completely missing. Exactly what lined up with what Osgood said. So it really shows that there is something going on a lot more powerful than UNIT or we can comprehend. However, Cleo suggests maybe they should search for the Doctor. And, of course, Joel, Osgood, Abby and Shauna can't remember the Doctor. Cleo is the only one that can remember the Doctor. And Cleo suggests this, obviously, because she knows that she's in charge of the TARDIS or the Doctor has something to do with the TARDIS. And the whole database shuts down. Exactly like in the informational video where the recruitment video just cut out whenever the Doctor was mentioned, and again, same thing cuts out with the database when they search up the Doctor. So then Cleo is like, well, this is boring. Is there anything cool to show us? And Joel, obviously like their kind of bodyguard, or I don't know what his role is, but an agent for UNIT, says, I got something to show you. And he shows them this mascara, and Shauna and Cleo are like, haha, very funny, Joel. Well, because we're girls, we think we want to see mascara. Because it's not just mascara, it's sonic mascara. And he shows them, and he blows up this drink, and it's just, it's insane. And Joel explains the sonic mascara, the most we've ever seen the sonic explained. It reverberates particles, causing them to a point where they build up with too much energy, so they let it out and it explodes. And of course, the sonic mascara is very reminiscent of the Doctor's sonic screwdriver. So, not only do we have the Doctor's sonic screwdriver, the most known sonic device in all of Doctor Who, we also have the Master's laser screwdriver, Miss Foster's sonic pen, and most reminiscent of a sonic mascara, Sarah Jane's sonic lipstick. So, of course, the sonic is a big thing in Doctor Who, which just is great to see it come back in a big way. So, Shauna and Cleo and Joel have a fun time blowing up Diet Coke and ginger ale with the sonic mascara. And after that, they come across a couple of different alien artifacts. They come across this alien armor, which I thought could be a reference to the alien armor where in the first episode of Sarah Jane Adventures, when Sky was dropped on Sarah Jane's doorstep, that there was a war between the metal kind and the flesh, but it turns out that Cleo says this is a Rathlox, the creature from episode 2 and 3 attacking Rani Chandra. However, Cleo then hears this device, an alien radio, which the Doctor is on the other end for, and Shauna doesn't hear this because she goes off searching for something else that catches her eye. But Cleo then has a conversation with the Doctor. And I just want to mention, she brings up a reference of Cleopatra, obviously a reference to Cleo's name, and Cleopatra, the Egyptian queen, from specifically the 10th and 11th Doctor's era, where Doctors 10 and 11 were shown to have a relationship with Cleopatra, and the Pandorica opens confirms this when River Song pretends to be Cleopatra, and the Doctor asks River how she was, and River Song takes on her identity, and it is confirmed that the 11th Doctor did have a relationship with her. However, going past this, the Doctor, Cleo asks the Doctor who she is, and the Doctor says, I can't tell you my name, otherwise your head might explode. So do these people die? I mean, head explode really looks like what happened to Reed Richards in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, a head literally exploding. However, these are just people being redacted from reality. You don't find dead bodies of Graham or Ryan or Martha anyway. They've just been erased from reality. People don't remember them. Their heads don't actually explode. So, however, the Doctor also goes on to say that she is trapped and something is killing people and she has to stop it. However, Cleo is like, well, what's trapping you? What's killing people? And the Doctor says, I've got someone who can help you. However, it is only revealed that this is a female, and she says, don't call her A, and then the radio explodes and Cleo loses the Doctor. However, I think the Doctor was referring to Madame Vastra, as she is confirmed to appear in this series, and I think she was saying don't call her a lizard or don't call her a reptile. And of course, this is really great because we haven't seen Madame Vastra yet, so I really hope she comes back. However, then Cleo and Shauna come across a Dalek, which again is the biggest reference tie-in to the Bad Wolf, which they came across earlier, which the Daleks were tied into every time. Of course, being destroyed by Rose, the Bad Wolf, and of course, being the end of the universe in the Stolen Earth and Journey's End. And of course, Russell T Davies was a big fan of Dalek episodes. Every series end was either a Dalek or a Master episode. So of course the Daleks being referenced here along with Bad Wolf is not a big shock. However, Cleo can remember seeing a Dalek. And as I said last episode, everything that happened in Doctor Who from Series 1 to Series 5 never actually happened in the Doctor Who universe. And yeah, it would make a lot of sense if Series 1 to Series 5 did actually happen in the Doctor Who universe. As I just said, the Daleks stole the Earth in Stolen Earth and Journey's End. However, this didn't actually happen. So how does Cleo know the Dalek? And that is something to be scared of, as she is really scared of it. And even Joel seems to be scared of it. And he says, you don't want to know about it, but you're going to keep asking these questions. So there's a storage unit about the Dalek. So, Shauna and Cleo go down there, however it is locked, but Shauna uses the Sonic Mascara, so again, Sonic really good for opening doors, blowing stuff up, just really great thing. However, the storage unit seems to be full of people's clothes, and this is really weird. However, Cleo and Shauna quickly realise all these people died after meeting the Doctor, and there is a list of a couple of names. Two I don't know, but one I do know. Clive Finch, and he is the person from Rose, the conspiracy man who knew about the Doctor, and who knew all about the Doctor, and that he comes, and again, in the Ninth Doctor's era, there was a lot of things about, you see the Doctor, and he comes up, followed by the dead. Because really the Doctor does kill people, although he tries to save them. But it's just the fact. However, they are looking up, Shauna and Cleo are looking up records for the Dalek. However, they come across Cleo's dad, But I don't know why they were just not looking under D for Dalek, but I guess all these people's clothes was like too much for them to ignore. So, Cleo and Shauna come across, of course, Cleo's dad's stuff, and Cleo says it still smells like him, his wedding ring, all his stuff, and maybe this is a reference to Joe Grant saying this about the TARDIS, how it still smells the same even though it looks totally different in the Sarah Jane Adventures, and that is still the same. It's still the same TARDIS. We then go back to Osgood, who has been interviewing Abby, and she shows her the Osgood box from the Zygon invasion and the Zygon inversion. Of course, this is a big thing. We don't even know what the Osgood box actually does because we never saw it happen, and there were two buttons, truth and consequences, so even we don't know what happened. The only person who I think does is the Doctor and Osgood has forgotten what the Osgood box does. However, she has they have studied it, and it has the potential to wipe out all life on Earth, which is of course something big, but something that could happen. However, we got no answers to it, and speaking of no answers, we don't know whether this Osgood is human or Zygon, as of course in the Zygon inversion and the Zygon invasion, the Zygon that was messing all this up, Bonnie, took on Osgood's form. However, we don't know whether that Osgood that she took on the form of was human or Zygon, because before in Day of the Doctor, the Zygon decided to pose as Osgood to destroy humanity, but then eventually decided that she wanted to just live on the Earth as their home was destroyed in the Time War. So the Zygon are basically a fleeing race from the Time War, and she decided to be good and join UNIT and work together to save the day. But is this Osgood human or Zygon? Was the one that Missy killed human or Zygon? Just so many questions, because does this work on human and Zygon? If she doesn't know the Doctor, what is the point of her not staying in Osgood form, or is she so far gone with her memory that she doesn't know she's a Zygon? So many questions. However, Abby, in relation to the Osgood box, says, could this be a Nexus event? And Nexus events we most know now from Marvel, from obviously the Loki series, the WandaVision series, and of course Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Of course, Loki and Sylvie loving each other being Nexus events, and Wanda Maximoff being a Nexus event, whilst the Scarlet Witch being a Nexus event. Stephen Strange using the Darkhold being a Nexus event. So, of course, this Osgood box destroying the world would definitely be a Nexus event. But is this true in all parallel universes? As we know, parallel universes are a thing in Doctor Who. However, the girls reunite, and Cleo and Shauna confront Osgood, saying, did you know Cleo's dad was dead? And how could you do this, knowing Cleo's dad was dead? However, even hearing this, Abby decides she wants to stay on at UNIT, as she still thinks they are good and saves lives, even after Shauna and Cleo said, you knew Cleo's dad was dead. So Shauna leaves, and then 9 seconds later, Cleo leaves. And this episode splits up the girls, with Shauna and Cleo maybe not even being together, and Abby definitely not with the other ones. And this Nexus event of the Osgood box and Osgood not being human or Zygon, seeing the Dalek there and knowing Cleo's dad was dead, puts Abby in a lot of trouble. So maybe Cleo and Shauna will band together again and help save Abby. However, Cleo needs to work through these things with her dad. However, Shauna and Cleo have both had a rough time in this episode. First of all, they thought UNIT was a joke and that they didn't want to work with UNIT, and Abby was the opposite of this. However, Shauna was really worried about UNIT when Abby went off with Osgood, and she doesn't want her to leave, as of course there is some sexual tension between Abby and Shauna. However, Cleo is obviously the most devastated by this, thinking that Unit know her dad was dead. However, like I've said before, I might be wrong, but did Cleo's dad die? Do they know Cleo's dad died? All we know really is that he came into contact with the Doctor or Unit. However, I do have to say about the sound design is still amazing. The national anthem in the the recruitment video, the song at the start of Triumph to go into defeat at the end of this episode, and also the static sound whenever the Doctor and maybe Madame Vastra have been mentioned. And it's just great, and it is insane. The fact that they've split up and Abby doesn't believe Cleo and Shauna, maybe Cleo, again, feeding into Cleo's doubt about herself, that maybe they're better off apart. But that is all I found out for this episode. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe and comment down below and share it out. And I will see you in the next one.